Hey folks, AJ here, and guess what? Welcome to the media booth. This isn't exactly the way I wanted it to be, but hey, we need to start somewhere. I always tell y'all to start where you what you got. That's what we're doing here. So we're gonna have some different layouts, but in the studio type of layout, be way more comfortable. Maybe I'm gonna have this upstairs so I can sit on the couch and just chat with y'all and things like that. But the purpose of this podcast, first off, is have a mainly audio version. So I have a bunch of y'all who listen to our Q&A and a bunch of other videos, and it's a lot of interaction because I'm normally doing some demos, but this is meant to be more of a conversational type of piece that hopefully will spark conversation, make you think, and then hopefully you can hear somebody saying, man, whoever that I bring in on that we're talking to, yep, they understand exactly what I'm talking about. So I have a bunch of thoughts of different episodes and seasons that we're going to do. I don't know how frequently I'm going to do this right now. I just finished doing a consultation, so I want to jump on this real quick while it's fresh in my mind. But what I've been noticing is I believe that we've come to a point when it came to when I first got started doing this, so many people were fighting in embracing technology in the church, using live streaming to reach more people. Everybody wanted to be in a lecture format, and no one thought anything other than that. Anything other than that was unholy or whatever. So we're at that point where people. Well, this conversational. So hey, we're gonna get blunt and raw with what we're talking about. The people who still have that viewpoint are completely out of touch with reality, in my personal opinion. So for me, it's like, hey, if you're still struggling with that, then there's really no reason for you to be embracing this stuff. That's just my personal opinion. But the whole point is, I'm realizing now is what we do from a live streaming standpoint is not meant to be a turnkey solution. I do videos to try and talk about how simple it can be, but this is like a skill that you have to constantly work at. I have a bunch of ministries that still have not embraced that, and they'll call me last minute asking for me to explain something in 5 minutes that is something that should have been practiced for the last 5 years. This isn't everything that we do here is not meant to be something that you can just easily do without any type of serious effort that you need to put into. Like, for example, I mean, I've been playing piano for years. I still practice, I still play. And well, let me rephrase that. Like, I still play, but I enjoy playing so much that some people will think I'm just playing, but to me, it's practice. Me doing the Q&As that I do, the live streams that I do, yeah, they're meant to create content for y'all, but that's still a practice for me to perfect my craft. So, why do I say this? No matter what your media ministry is, if you're interested in starting a media ministry, what you need to do is weekly, if not at a bare minimum monthly, but again, it should be weekly. You need to have an extensive training regimen go in place, like where you're practicing the live stream. You're practicing how do I put up scripture faster? How do I put up presentations faster? How does the audio work so everybody can hear it? Let me actually listen to what I'm producing so I can hear what people who are watching hear and see. This is something that you have to constantly practice because it just does not come just like that. And then, more importantly, what we do is changing constantly. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, all the other apps that keep coming out. We're getting way more and more, and YouTube podcasts like I'm using right now. More and more stuff is becoming available in their tools that we can help share the message and ministry wherever. To come in and say, we're on Facebook, that's enough. We're on YouTube, that's enough. We don't need to innovate. We don't need to study. We don't need to improve. That is a flawed mentality. Because again, I literally just got off of a consultation with a ministry, and this is the seventh ministry that's had this problem. I don't know if you've noticed, if y'all are still predominantly using Zoom, Zoom has did an update that if you play any type of music, it will start filtering that music and almost kind of like noise canceling, killing the music in general. I have no way to base my opinion on this on fact, so this is just my opinion. I really think they're starting to a lot of ministries have been going to Zoom because it avoids the trap of copyright claims and all this other stuff. Again, I have no proof for this. I personally think that some people are leaning on Zoom and people are aware, lawyers or whatever, know about that, and they're putting pressure on Zoom to be like, hey, people are using our music and we're not getting compensated. You need to start doing something. That's what I think. Again, I have no proof to back that out, but being in the space for a certain amount of time, seeing how the claims happen on Facebook, YouTube, and a whole bunch of con artists that don't even own, I don't know how a publication company in India owns the rights to lift their voice and sing. No, you don't. But anyway, that's what I personally think. But I say all that to say, um, the environment, everything that y'all are using has changed. And if you are not up to speed with that, not reading the notes on what's happening when Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, your ATEM, your cameras, your platforms, your streaming requirements, your upload, your download speed, if you're not noticing that stuff, you are behind the eight ball. You just are not aware. And the days of being able to just buy something for your church and it's just an on and off button, those have been gone. You have to practice consistently to get better. And actually, let me rephrase that. You need to constantly practice just to maintain your skill set. And then once you maintain your skill set, now you need to push to what else can you do. Look at other ministries. That's the reason why we have this channel, the Facebook group for ministries to share what they're doing so that we're not sitting back, I'm jealous. No, it's to inspire each other that, hey, if this ministry that looks almost like ours, has the same congregation, has the same type of church layout, if they were able to do this, why couldn't we? Oh, well, they were able to afford this. Why couldn't we? They were able to do this on a shoestring budget. Why couldn't we? Oh, they were able to do this with free tools, um, with like Canva and all the other free stuff that we've done, or started playing around with the AI stuff that we talked about in our last video on Facebook. Why can't we do that? That's what it's all about. It's about pushing forward. Again, I love trying to help ministries, but the real talk about it is, what's the blunt way I can do it? I will be more than happy for y'all to keep paying me to do training and consultations. But I'm trying to tell you, you can avoid that if you just put in a curriculum of how you constantly practice and practice. Because I'm practicing all the time. And again, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot when I say this, but if you would constantly get a part of the community that we've developed and put together, a lot of the stuff like, hey, I can help you jumpstart and answer some of your questions faster than you research it. But I feel just like when I did at Antioch, when I put that whole system together, I researched, I got information, I hit my head against a wall, I figured out I should take a left instead of a right and figured that stuff. That's why I know the systems as signs and wonders in all the churches I've done inside and out, because I know them from inside and out. I know the ups and downs. When somebody can call, I don't have to be sitting in front of OBS, in front of the ATEM, in front of whatever, because I've practiced it so much that I know it inside and out. Now, again, I'm not trying to say that I set this standard, but if you are running your media ministry, and let me just say this, if you've been doing all of your equipment for over a year and you're still struggling with being able to communicate what you do to somebody else that's coming back behind you, I personally feel you haven't practiced enough. Um, that's why I always tell churches when I train them, I'm not going to tell you exactly word for word what to do. I'm going to tell you how to use the software, how to use the hardware, and the basics. Meaning that I'm going to show you, this is a paint, this is a can of paint, this is a canvas, these are brushes. These are your tools. Now you can paint whatever picture you want to. I'm not going to tell you what to paint because I'm not going to be here. You're making a carbon copy of me. No, I want to give you the tools and you can design whatever you want to. So that's what I'm more about. Like, hey, this is the upload speed that you need. This is how you distribute your stuff throughout the sanctuary. This is how this program works. This is how you put scripture up. This is how you take it down. This is how you switch the cameras. This is how you move the cameras. This is how you hook it all together. Now, the artistry, the production that you produce from that, that is left up to you. And that's something that the more you practice, the more you get familiar with it, now your creativity comes out because now you're not stuck trying to just figure out the basics. The basics have now been moved over to your subconscious mind. I already know how to do this. Just like when you first learned how to drive a car. It was like, how in the world do I do this? How do I do this, and this? You already know how to do that. Now, now when some of us you mastered how to drive, now that's when you can hold a conversation with somebody that's in the seat beside you, or you're reprimanding the kids in the back seat, or you're trying to navigate to the next spot to get to, because you're still handling the driving. That's the same thing that you need to do with this. You need to be proficient enough, just like am. You saw me fiddle with the ATEM a couple of times to get this camera working, but we're still rolling because I know the flow of this. I know my equipment here. I know the equipment at my church and the other churches I've done. How proficient are you with that? That is my call and my heartbeat to try and talk to y'all about that. That is like, um, if you're running a media ministry, even if it's by yourself, you need to know this stuff like it's the back of your hand because that exudes confidence. And if you really want to get more people involved with your ministry, it's one thing for people to come in and they inherently are interested. There's another thing for people that have self-doubt in themselves and they're like, I'd love to do that, but I don't think I'm capable. And then they're like, oh, well, Mr. AJ knows tech and he's struggling. Well, if he's struggling, why in the world would I think I could do any better? Some people need to see your confidence and you'll bring and draw more people in based off of that because you look confident. You know what you're doing. So if that person knows where they're going, I don't mind hitching my wagon to them because I know they know where they're going and I want to go where they're going. That's why you get kids involved and stuff like that because they're like, man, we're seeing what our ministry is producing and that looks similar to what I'm watching on YouTube. I want to be a part of that. That's why I'm saying that no matter what it is, you need to develop a continual practice session. Whether you do this at minimum, you should at least be live streaming in a practice just to make sure everything is working before you actually go live, whatever day that you're streaming. Don't try and figure this stuff out 5 minutes before it's due. Don't do that. And then more importantly, if you're not a part of the media ministry, give the people in the media ministry a break. If you have no idea what it takes, you don't know the difference between an ATEM and an ATM. If you don't know the difference between them, you need to relax on some of those expectations of what you think why the media ministry is still having problems and they haven't worked this out and this and this. You need to relax on that or volunteer. That's what I better say. If you think you know how to do it, volunteer, and you'll quickly be humbled to know how much these volunteers, which the majority of them are not being paid, what they're trying to balance out. So this was my first inaugural media booth. This is just talking points. It ain't just going to be me talking. We're going to be having some people coming in and stuff like that. But I want to talk about some of the things that just like if you were sitting in my media booth and you're a part of the team, these are the things that I would talk about. What I just talked to you is the same thing I've said to every media ministry I've been involved with, where I've been the head or I've been a part of it, that we need to practice. There's no reason why I know the system better than anybody inside of here. You know, some of the basics. Everybody should be proficient in knowing the system to where my goal from a media ministry standpoint is no one can say, oh, I know AJ is running it today, because it's that much of a difference in the skill on how the equipment is done. So save yourself a heartache, go back to school in your media ministry. If you have a key, if you don't, ask whoever what days you can come over there and make an effort to try and understand and learn this stuff, folks. That's the stuff that we got talking about. So be on the lookout for another media booth type of podcast video. This is going to be on YouTube right now. I am working to put it in different platforms, but I want this again to have these discussions that, you know, it resonates with you. Maybe you're thinking this and maybe you hearing this is kind of confirmation, like, okay, I'm on the right path, or maybe this is a talking point that you're not able to explain this to leadership. And hey, I'm not at your ministry, so I can talk a lot tougher and they can be mad at me all day long. Doesn't bother me, but if it can help get your point across of what you've been trying to communicate, that's what this is about. And be on the lookout. We're going to be having some more ways for y'all can submit stuff and talk to me. And I got a phone call. I got a call right after this, but let me know what type of things you would like me to discuss. Again, I'm gonna probably pull up a poll every week, and then whatever has the highest rating, that's what we're gonna talk about. So again, thank you so much. My name is AJ the CEO. You can find me here on youtube.com/AJ the CEO or anywhere on social media as AJ the CEO. Thank you so much for watching, and we will catch you on the next Media Booth.